Hello, I'm Tan, editor of Asian Pork Magazine. Welcome to Asian Agribiz podcast. Today, Hatu, a regional correspondent in Southeast Asia, will talk to Etienne Guérou, CEO and founder of Pigstech, about how new developments in farming technologies can help swine producers minimize biosecurity errors and improve management.
Hi, Etienne. It's great to have you here with us in this podcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Arthur. Well, you're very much welcome.
Today we'll be talking about technologies in pig farming, and I'm glad to have you here with us because you are an expert in this topic. In diseases outbreak, and most recently we have ASF. The most common word I've heard is biosecurity. And the interesting thing is the more common word I've heard is biosecurity error or mistakes. Many people told me, their farmers and veterinarians told me that the most common biosecurity mistakes are made by humans. So what do you think about this?
Yes, it's compulsory because we are talking about farming. So it's an environment that has been built by humans for their own purpose. So for sure, I would say it's human mistakes.
So do you think we need better management or we need better workers? Here, I don't think we have many options because it's very difficult to find workers to work at the farms these days.
My point of view is pretty simple. Mistakes are made by management, not by workers. Management is here to guide the workers to do the right thing and to have foolproof organization. So first of all, I think that the management are the ones that are making decisions. It's too easy to blame workers because they are untrained, low education or whatever. It's too easy, by far too easy. The responsibility lies with management and solely with management. I'll give you an example. Would you have a room where every single worker has to pass through with a very specific procedure in changing their boots or taking a shower, and they can't do otherwise? Workers won't be, I would say, making mistakes because you force them to go through a very thorough process for them to be clean once they enter the buildings. So it's clear that management have to put in place process and procedures. It's not only to tell the people, oh, you have to do this and you have to do that. It's too easy. You have to adapt to the situation and the type of workers you have. So you may have in Europe maybe more trained peoples and better educated, which sometimes I may doubt. But in Europe, mainly, you will have those kind of rooms where people have to go through. In Asia, maybe less. So whose responsibility is that? The worker or the management? It's definitely the management. So for me, there's no doubt about that.
So do you think with the help of the technologies, we can improve the management at the farm?
Oh, there will be for sure. There will be for sure. There is, I would say, the best, for me, the best technology anyways, prevention. So first you have to prevent as much as possible with the technology, and I would say touching the subject we had before with training of your working force. But the technology should be first used as a prevention. Problem is very often the people will see prevention as costly because the only thing they see is I would say, the money they will spend while nothing happened, a bit like an insurance. And this is where they make a lot of mistakes. When animals are sick or they die or anything, on a day, they just realize how much they've lost. But they don't realize that would they have invested earlier, it would help them to prevent a lot of issues. And then they just say, oh, if I knew, I would have. It's too late. So yes, technology definitely can help. Take an example, you are in a dusty place, put filter to your fans and ventilation system. You are pumping water from the ground, use proper water treatment. And when I say proper, it's not just adding chemicals. Pigs
Mhm.
are same as humans. They don't like to drink water that smell and have a very strong chlorine test. They hate
Mhm.
that. Why would they like it when we don't? It's just simple. Other things like, for example, UV. UV will treat the water at the place, but not in the pipes. You may want to use, for example, solution like electrolysis that will ionize the water and clean all your tubes and pipes and nipples. And this will first clear all your, you were talking about the ASF. If you have this kind of water treatment, no more ASF from water, which is amazing. So no more ASF, no more all the collies and all the bacteria will be just but killed at the water tank. And when distributed, it will provide very good and very healthy water to the pigs. So yes, technology can help.
Mhm.
Now, prevention is one thing. After that, for sure, you may want to get some, I would say, other sensors in your farm that will detect sickness of pigs. It can be like sensors on the animals, for example, taking temperatures. It may be sensors in the air, checking for the dust, and eventually it may be cameras. Some people use cameras to see if there is any lameness in animals. It may be a microphone where people will hear animal coughing, but those
Mhm.
things will happen after animals are sick. And the good prevention, same as what we call biosecurity, is to prevent animals to fall sick. The less animals falling sick, the less sick animal we have. The less sick animal we have the less losses, the less medicine, the less problem, the less veterinary requirement we have, and so forth. So to your question, yes, technology definitely can help. And I just added that technology should be mainly used as a prevention, but there is still very good technology to detect issues, if I may say, health issues.
So what about the disease detection, early detection? I think that we have talked about uh, the ear tag. You have the ear tag that can detect the temperature, that can measure
Right.
the temperature of the pigs, so that we see
Yes.
that there is something wrong with the pig's health.
Yes, true. But this is as, let's say, as the disease occur, you want to try to take care of it as fast as possible.
Mm.
So you have three types, let's say you have three types of sensors. I will take generally. You have a contact sensors, the one which is on the animal. You have a visual sensors, would be all the cameras and everything. And you have a sound sensors. Okay, so let's start with the visual sensors, which are the cameras. Very heavy equipment, very difficult to put in place, have to be adapted for each and every site in terms of camera positions and recognitions. And as there is very little sharing in between all the actors, then there is no sharing in terms of algorithm that will detect such or such disease. So it's a very good system, still limited. But at the same time, it may, for example, detect lameness in sow and the risk of the sow when firing piglets to crush piglets, because suddenly she will lose our ability to stand and just slam down. So this visual camera will be useful. The second one will be the sound. I will finish with the contact one. The sound is good because a very big, I would say, disease group will be pulmonary diseases, and with the coughing, and coughing will be really one of the main issue. So with the sound, you can record coughing, and you can very quickly go to your herd and clear the disease that you will hear before it spread. Same as I would say COVID. COVID spread through the air, and those diseases spread through the air. Today's date sound system that record and I would say analyze the disease are very scarce. There is very few systems existing, and they're not very accurate. So it's still under development. Then you have the last one where we are, I would say, yeah, an actor. I hope to believe that we are one of the major actors. It's a contact sensors where you take temperature. And temperature is a very critical sign of diseases, same as for African swine flu. You will have the disease, but not only for disease. I just take an example. When the sow is farrowing, body temperature will increase by 2 degrees. So we can use the temperature as well to predict what's coming up. So if sows are already in a farrowing cage and one of the sow have a increasing temperature, we know that this one will start farrowing. So it can send an alarm and tell the people, oh, you have got one sow that's starting labor. But the thing is, as we detect temperature and we can check and compare with all the pigs' situation, we know exactly which one is getting sick, and we can isolate the pig. And we take the temperature at a ear level because the ear is very close to the brain, and the brain is one of the most blood irrigated organs in the body. And in the pig ear, same as most of the animal, in between the second and third cartilage, you have a small artery, and this helps to get fresh blood hot from the heart that will let us know the body temperature and take the reference of this body temperature to compare with all the other animals in the room. So yes, we can do that. We can quickly analyze and know which animal have temperature and send an alarm to the farmer to segregate the animal. Because at the end of the day, what we want is to cure the sick animal as fast as possible to avoid the spread of the disease. So contact sensors, visual sensors, and sound sensors. And effectively, we do have a solution with a contact sensor because we believe it is the most important, coupled with, as we discussed before, prevention. And prevention is a key word.
Okay. And the technologies that you have mentioned, by using them, can we reduce the use of labor, less workers working at the farm? The technologies can do all of that task without us sending the people to the farms?
That's not exactly, I will not phrase it that way. I will say that as you're using technology, you reduce the need of spending time to clear problems. So by any means, when you have I'll let you imagine with when you have a car and the car breaking apart, you have to go to the mechanics and the mechanics have to fix the car, then you drive again and it's broken again, then you have to go to the mechanics again. And so you use a lot your mechanics. But let's imagine that you have a car that never breaks down. The only things you do is to drive. You never use the mechanics. So it's not that it will replace the people. It will just avoid to have the usage of people clearing issues. We don't want to clear issues. In the farm, I think that all the farmers I met, and I'm in an exhibition and I met a lot of those guys, and the only word they have is say, they want to work peacefully. They want to just take care of their farm, not to clear problems. They are not interested in problems. As I say, they got dictionaries of problems. They just want solution. And when we go around the design of the farm and what do they have done in terms of water treatment, dust issues, food, and biosecurity with the flow of people and animals, we see a lot of holes inside, and those holes create issues. Issues require people. People is a cost. So what we are, I would say, that's why I'd like to rephrase is that what we are doing here by prevention and early detection is to avoid spending time on and wasting money, putting money in the bin. And so that's why we try to explain to the farmer that investing early in prevention and in a good detection solution will save them money, not in the long run, but straight away. So it does not replace people. It make and it allow you to make good usage of people for them to provide, I would say, value-added works rather than clearing issues.
Okay, great. I agree with you. But from the technologies that you've mentioned, which one is the most critical? Well, from this, I mean that if I don't have enough money to invest in all of that, I just have some, and I want to do it step by step to upgrade my farm. So which should I focus first?
It's difficult to say. It turns out I'd like to promote the solutions we have, and I don't want it to be commercial. But let's step back on the discussion we had. First thing is prevention, and the largest and the most important things people don't realize is water quality. Definitively, water quality is critical, mainly in Asia because people pump water from the ground, and they don't know what the people far away from even from the farm have done to the ground. Maybe they buried bad things, chemicals, dead animals, whatever, and it will contaminate the water. And they have no way knowing it until the animals start to feel sick and they don't know what is going on. The first things, I would let them invest in a very good quality water treatment solution. This will be, I would say, the first investment I will do. A very quick return on investment. Second things I would do is contact sensors because it's easy to use, easy to implement. It's an identification systems on the animal that will give them full trustability on where the animal come from, sows, boar, inseminations, lot, and all the results. So this will help them not only to have an early warning in terms of potential disease that occur in their farm, but as well a lot of, let's say, KPIs, measures, traceability, records, and so forth. So second things would be, for me, contact device. The third one would be, and we're going, let's say, higher and higher in terms of cost. Third one would be a combination of image and sound solutions to detect coughing and animal behavior issues, which even coughing is important. A lot of those diseases you can detect very quickly when you walk in the barn, because a pig coughing, you can hear it. A pig having temperature, you may not detect it by eyes. Difficult. It's really have to get really sick before you can see it. When the temperature start, then the behave, I would say, normally, same as humans. So you won't see it. So that's why I would prefer to go for temperature detection first, then sound and visual after. Because sound, you can hear it. Lameness in sow, generally you will see it as well, because the sow will be sitting or it will be just lying down and not being able when you come to stand up. So this is the things you can see. So this is the thing you may not need straight away. So this is the way I would say do the things. But the first one would be water treatment, then contact sensors and video and sound. Not mentioning, because for me this is a no cost organization, is a biosecurity with a procedure for people to clean their boots, change clothes, put a cover hole or whatever that will make sure that there is no spread of the disease by people walking in the barn. And this is normally a no money investment. It's very simple to do.
Okay, I agree with you. First, I think that if I am an investor, if I'm a farmer, I will invest in the preventive methods first. I want to protect my money first.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay, what you
Create a
told
good
me,
environment.
yes, very interesting and convincing. But there's one problem, Etienne.
Yes.
Most farmers are not technical guys, or the farmers that I have met, they are not technical guys. So they're not confident in applying high-tech things. I think they are somehow intimidated by that, by technical things. So as a technology provider, how do you help them gain the confidence in operating the new technologies?
That's a very good point. It's a very good point, and I would add something. People are scared about new technology, but when they start to understand what we can do with technology we have, then they start to ask you, but can we have these? Can we have these? Can we have these? So they ask even for more. So it's a bit of a, it's a bit of a, okay, before running, we have to walk, and those guys starting from a standing point, but they want to run straight away. So to your point, I think in terms of, I will take, let's say, if we take step by step. When you talk about first step, prevention, as we were discussing before, when you talk about the biosecurity around the farm, you just have to implement things that are very, I think, simple. It's same as when people go for lunch, they will clean their hands. They find it very normal. So we have to make sure that they understand that everything that go inside the farm is clean, and everything that coming outside the farm will not come back in again, except it is clean, but normally even not go back in the farm when it's coming out. So this is quite simple. Second, the water, very same as I would say by experience. Give a glass of water to the farmer with a lot of chlorine inside, and the guy would say, "Oh, it's very bad water." And you say exactly the same for the pig. You want our sow to do very good lacting to the piglets, but you give very bad water. She will only drink, it will only drink because it is thirsty. That's it. Not because it wants to drink water. What you want is your sow to drink water because the water is good. It's good pH and good salinity and everything. And the more water she drink, the more lacting she will have, the more she will pass on to the piglets, and the better they will grow. So good water is very important. This as well, sometimes it's difficult for them to understand that water treatment is not the same for every type of treatment. And then we start to talk about technology on there, but I do believe that it's quite okay. Now, and when you mention technology, it's a bit like the digital ages where we are in now. Having the guys moving to web app, mobile applications, and tags that you put on here that will communicate with a network in the farm and everything. Yes, this could be a problem because those guys are really moving to the digital age. And this can be an issue. True. So what we try to do is to keep the solutions as simple as possible and trying to even let them, while discussing about solutions, telling us what they would like to have, if would they have those tools. And very often what is good is that we can surf on their answers to show them that what we've done is nearly what they have in terms of paperwork, in terms of wishes, but it's on the screen and it will help them to just do the job maybe a bit differently of what they were doing before. We took last week an order in the middle of Java Island in Indonesia. And the farmer placed purchase order to us pretty quickly. In fact, he understood very well what we were doing and so forth. Reason is, he was a young guy that were like a bit a geek using Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. So he knows. Lately, we took a purchase order in Vietnam, and the guy in Vietnam was, let's say, I think he was in his 50s, and he was more difficult. It took for us a month of discussion to convince the guy that the situation where he is required some kind of technology for him to provide him with all the KPIs he were looking for. Without those digital solution, he would not have this information he's requiring instantly. He had to key in, he had the problems and so forth. And he understood that with our solution, it will go faster. But we had a plus in this deal. His son came in the meeting. And his son, again, was somebody that had touch computers and digital tools on a daily basis. So to your questions, no simple answers. I think generation is a key element. Young, or let's say that customers with younger team will be more prone to change with technology. Elderly people will think that they always have been doing like this, so it will be difficult for them to change. But if we compare with Europe, for example, it will be very difficult for anyone here in Europe now not having a connected tools for his farm because of regulations, because of scarce resources. You were talking about workers. It's not a problem of getting rid of, it's problem of finding people. So it's a key issue. So I'm sorry, I have no straight answer for you. I had to accept that, trying to show the people by demonstration what it can do for them on the top of what they're doing today without changing too much the way they work.
That is an answer. That is a good answer already, Etienne.
Oh, thank you very much.
But I'm wondering if we have can we compare the results, the performance before and after we use the technology?
We should be able to, if the farm, if the guy is registering his performance before, even on paper, it will be very easy. Let's take an example with the solutions we have. We'll be able to, let's say, track any key performance and help the farmer to select the proper sow that's producing the best. We'll be able to track any even, I know it will be statistics. It's not bulletproof. What we have is not bulletproof, but it's quite good. By tracking all the piglets from a sow, we know, for example, if the sow, let's say, win 14 piglets and only 10 go to the market, you've been losing 4. And if it's twice the same, you can definitively say that this sow have a genetic deficiency in that it is transmitting to its piglets, and the piglets are not strong. Now you may have another sow that got 14 piglets win, and 14 piglets to the market. It's a good sow. Maybe you want to select a gilt from that sow. If you don't have a proper tool that will trace all those things, then you will never be able to do this selection. By doing a good selection, then you increase the number of piglets winned. You increase the number of pigs to the market. You start to make sure that your production tool is very efficient and you understand exactly what's going on in your farm. So definitively the tool will help you to make better selections. As we discussed before, early detection in terms of disease and issues. So you will reduce mortality by any means. So by reducing mortalities, you have more pigs coming to the market. So more meat, say more money. If you lose pigs during the fattening, the growing and fattening period of the pigs, you will lose a lot, because you will lose a lot of feed that you gave to the pigs. So definitively, people will be able to realize just by seeing how many pigs coming out that their performance will definitively increase mechanically by using technology. Is what we are here for. We like to say we are not selling equipment, we are selling profits. And what we try to do, in every countries where we are working in, we have banks partners, so we can offer the people, let's say, to make a loan to pay for the equipment. So in fact, profits they will make will pay for the loans. This is the objective. If they loan the money to the bank to invest in their farms on our system, then the system will pay for itself. Coming back to what you were saying just before, is yeah, but the guys may not have a lot of money. We understand that. We understand our system is not free, it's not cheap, it's quite expensive as well. But we believe, not only we believe, but we know that would the people use it properly with good biosecurity measures and preventions, minimum will be water, they can reduce their losses, I would say even by half.
Wow.
Let's imagine that the farmer say, oh, I got 20% losses in between farrowing and market, and I can reduce this by half. Wow. Just an example. In Europe, in France, a farm that got 8% losses in between farrowing and market is an average farm. It's in the average. I don't think there is any farm in Asia that got 8% losses only. I'll give you a second example. We are tracking birth farrowing weight of every single piglets. I was discussing with one guy yesterday, and he said that every piglets above 400 grams born, they try to save them. I never heard that in Asia. In Asia, I think that when the piglets are 600 grams lower, they don't keep them. Here they do. And what the guy was telling me, that at 400 to 500 grams, he can save half of the pig and bring them back to the weight of their siblings that were born earlier.
Wow.
And he got an average of 1.4 kg per liter, which is huge. And I was thinking, okay, how have you done this? He said tracking, traceability, monitoring, and selecting. So to come back to your questions, can the technology help the people? Yes, because it will just, let's say, bridge the gap there is in between, let's say, hundreds of years of farming knowledge in Europe, passed on generation to do excellent farming and growing of swine, but also the pressure of the market, because here meat price is about €2 per kilo, including increase of the feed, which would be similar to something as 1.2, 1.3 euro per kilo. Already processed animal. While in Asia now, it's about 3 to 3.5 euro a kilo alive. So the pressure here pushed the people to really be very, very, very good. Not mentioning that there is a lot of regulatory pressure as well in terms of how to raise pigs, animal wealth, well-being, animal treatment, antibiotics and medicines, supplements, things like that. It's very complex. But people develop technology here. With technology, people develop very good farming solutions here in Europe. And we believe that with the technology we are putting on the market, we can help the people to build this knowledge knowledge with our solutions in a couple of years and being, if not as efficient as Europe, but we're getting closer. So produce better, losing less, and making more profit.
Thank you. Thank you. That makes a lot of sense. I would like to share with you because you've mentioned that the examples you've made with the orders, the new orders from Indonesia and Vietnam. From my visits to swine farms in Vietnam, I haven't seen much of new technologies application in the independent farms, but I have seen some large companies picking it up, like BAF, Green Feed, Mavin. I think soon in the future we will see more of this. Especially it will be driven by the consolidation in the increasing pressure of diseases and the shortage of labor in this industry. So I think that the points you've made are very good. And thank you very much for you've shared with us, Etienne. I think the audience can really pick up some interesting idea from what you've shared to apply at their farms.
Thank you. What I invite the audience to do as well is to, let's say, if they not agree, which could be, or they have another point of view, would be very interesting to share. And I'm sure that you will look forward. I just want to come back on the comment you made before. If the big players are using technology in their farm, small player would be really advised to do the same. Otherwise, there will be only big players remaining. And I would say that the solutions we are putting on the market is not made only for big farms. And we definitively bring the technology to a level where we want the small farm, let's say 200, 500 sows, to be as performant as the big one. Which means that family-owned farm can thrive for a long time and not being, let's say, choked by price or by, let's say, low performance compared to the big guys and die. Because it's important that we keep the people doing their job, we keep people in job, we keep people making profits, we keep feeding the people. And not only with very, very big corporation, but also with, let's say, proximity farms, and maybe with better quality or things like that. So technology is not made only for the big guys.
Wow.
So thank you very much, Atu, for your listening to me. And I hope you had answers at least to your questions.
You did.
Thank you very much.
Thank you once again, and hope to see you again soon.
For sure. Thank you very much, Atu, and talk to you soon.
We hope this podcast offered you some new ideas about the technologies you can invest in to improve your farm management and operations. Thank you for listening to another Asian Agribiz podcast. Subscribe to our podcast via Spotify and Apple Music, and visit our website at www.asian-agribiz.com to get updates on Asia's animal protein industry.